Good morning. Go ahead and give me a mic check. Let me know if you can hear this okay. Do you guys have sound now? There should be sound coming through. Okay, thanks, MC. So I've had to scramble this morning after getting home. You know, you think everything's going to be great day of trading. Went to drop kids off at school, and then get breakfast at the coffee shop and then come home, and TradingView would not hook to Tradeovate for me. I was logged in on my phone on TradingView while I was out. Unfortunately, the coffee shop has no internet anymore since they're shutting down. So they've already shut down their internet access. Everybody's hooked to hotspot. Well, I told them they need to disable their Wi-Fi box. I'm like, if you're not using it, disable it, because what it's doing is it's interfering. I can't even hook to TradingView on my mobile out there. So, and it's a small town. I don't know if that's part of the reason or what. But now after this issue, I don't think that was the reason. I think it was just something to do with Tradeovate. So I'm still having that issue and cannot connect my charts. So I started trading through Top Step, and it's such a small account. So unfortunately, not any big trading today, which is really disappointed. So I did take ES. Let me see here. So on TradingView, I actually drew this head and shoulders, and it goes against everything down here on the bottom. The 15, 1 hour, and 4 hour was green. So I drew the head and shoulders, and at the time it was down here. So I kind of had to project, and I kind of had the right shoulder up like that. You know, just kind of had to try and guesstimate or project where it may go. And then there was a buy signal that came, and I thought, oh, surely that head and shoulders is not going to work out, because we had a buy signal. Everything's still green. So it ended up working out. I did short that, and when I shorted it was when it turned back over here, and the 15-minute turned red. So I'm glad I did, and I did it in the Tradeovate account. And I've got to pull a report, but it was up like 600 and something. Oh, here. So I'm out right now, and I got 584 on that trade. So that's the only thing I traded in one of my accounts on, and I had to do it on Tradeovate because I couldn't do it in here. So really disappointed. I don't like trading through Tradeovate. Their orders are just kind of they show kind of off to the side. It's kind of clunky. I'm getting used to it, but never have really liked to trade through it. And of course, trading just on that platform, we don't have our signals, so which is horrible. So I did trade this head and shoulders pattern. Now on gold, what I did, and I'll go over the two trades. So I did have one short. If I'm not mistaken, I think Candace, I think you had one short as well, and then reversed in here. Now that I had to do through Top Step. So that's on my Top Step account, small trades. And here's what I did. So basically, and I'm not going to color the lines. Normally we would color this, unless you really talk me into it. We would color this one red. I don't have on Top Step, I don't have all the lines labeled. Maybe I do. Trade line down. It looks like I do. Okay, and trade line up. I didn't think I did on Top Step. So we have trade line up, trade line down. I don't know why I have two there. See, they're not labeled the same as the other. Okay, so here's the trades I took. I was going to do it in a video, and I thought, no, we'll just jump in live while we're in it, since I'm still in it. And I want to go over this trade line, which I have not moved, and I did that for a reason, because I wanted to show what happened over here and why I did not change positions, okay? So I traded short here. I know someone was asking out in the group, trade stations working. Oh, trades is that Tradeovate through TradeStation? And I've never used TradeStation, but I know that Tradeovate's having issues today. So I did trade short here. You'll see my orders. I just shorted 3. Again, this is a small account. Up top there in the screen, you can see how much I've locked in. I've only locked in 146 with 137 sitting on the day. So this account is small, and I try to get anywhere from 300 to 500 on the day on this. Okay, it's a small combine account. So I traded short here. Why did I trade short there? Well, one, I was on my phone, so I didn't have a lot of options. I was looking at that low right there that got broke and tested. Okay, so I was looking at all these bounces. All right, so we have a bounce there. It swung up, bounce there, failed. This is a fail to break that high. Okay, then came down, formed a little bit higher low, and then again here failed to break that high, and then kept going. It finally broke that high a little bit, but came back through. So on this green candle, this wick, this green candle, it opened and closed above this high, but then on the test of it, when it pulled down on the red candle, it failed to hold. That high failed to hold as support, and it came all the way back down here, tested this low again. Okay, so then it made a run up and finally broke that high. Okay, with this candle closing again above this high and this high, but then on the test of that, on the pullback, it pulled back under that high level, okay, which again was from back here. So when it fails to break a level, and that's why we like to wait on the signal candle. If I would have got in long there, like I did on one of them yesterday, so I traded 4 instruments yesterday. One of them I did. One of them I got in on the pullback. It's a riskier trade, so you should use less contracts. If I would have taken that one, then I would have been in a losing trade, okay, and had to close out. So didn't take that. Over here, we had it break through the lows. So this was a really good setup. Broke through the lows, came down, pulled back up on this green candle to test that level of, this is a level of support over here. It's going to test it as resistance. And this is your traditional charting techniques, okay? So it pulled back up to test that previous level that was support over here as resistance. Red candle, it's your signal to get in. I waited on further confirmation. I waited on we had a little bit of a bearish push here with these 3 candles, and this red candle broke that low. That's when I jumped in. So jumped in, it quickly moved down a little bit. Let me turn off the crosshairs here. So it quickly moved down. That's way better. So it quickly moved down a little bit only to pull back. So I was in the negative a little bit for a while, but again, it's 3 contracts. It's not a big trade. My stop was up here above this high. I kept my stop out there. You could go tighter above like this wick here for a little tighter stop. So, and then I had drawn a down trend line from this high to this high, okay, because I got in here. So got in with 3 contracts. Went down, pulled back, bounced perfectly. Perfect bounce. We don't always get these, but it perfectly pulled back to that down trend line and then pushed to make a lower low, broke this low. Okay, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a pullback. We want pullbacks. You should welcome the pullbacks in the market. That means the buyers and sellers are doing their thing. Okay, the big boys are doing their thing. It should move like that. That's what we want to see. We want to see, a pullback and then a push below the low. We want to see another pullback and then a push below the low. We want to see a pullback and a push. What am I going to say next? Below the low. That's what we want to see. That's perfect. Perfect movement. Is it going to hold up? Not long term. So we got to take it while we can get it. So I didn't close any out. Again, it was a small trade. When it came down here, when it extended and we had such a bearish move, we had a little bit of a pullback here, but it stepped away from my trade line. So this is my trade line down, and it stepped away from it and got steeper. Okay, well, as it gets steeper, I know what? I'm waiting on that bigger pullback. I'm waiting on a bigger pullback to my trade line. So I closed out 2 there. And as you look at it, I ended up closing out 2 at the perfect spot, okay? Because it really gave a nice pullback after that. So one thing I did, if you notice, I got an order here for 3. I closed out 2, capturing in this run. When it pulled back and gave me a red candle, so it pulled back to test that trade line. So we had a pullback. I could have drawn a retracement line on that, okay? And it broke that retracement line. I don't really have to draw the retracement line all the time. I just know, there's a pullback, okay? You could draw a retracement line up it, and I know that that candle would have broke it. That's your signal candle. Anytime there's a pullback to a line like that, you're looking for a red candle as a signal candle. So that's what we had here. Pullback, red signal candle, it would have broke the retracement line. You could get in on the signal candle or wait for it to pull back to test it, which it did. But I got in with 3. So I threw 3 more on. And my hope was, let's let it go, and I'm going to close out 2 and leave 1 more runner on and have 1 runner from up here, 1 runner from down here. It did go breach the low. This was the low. It did pop below it. I didn't close any out, and I forget what was happening, but I wasn't even at my phone. I know I was up in the coffee shop, and like I said, someone come in and started talking to me, and next thing I know, we're over here, okay? And I had to close out my short position. So it broke that trade line, tested the trade line, and a green candle for an entry. That's not the one I got in on. I did not get in right there, okay? And again, this is traditional charting technique. Now, I had to go back and forth and look at TradingView. Even though it wasn't logged in, I could still log into a paper account, and it would show the signals off the power trade indicator indicator. So that's not the one I got in on. I waited a little bit, and basically I waited for this high to be broke right here. I wanted structure to build in the opposite direction, okay? So down here we're making lower lows, lower highs, lower low, and then, it pulls up to breach this area, comes back down, gives a bounce. I was waiting to see what happened over here. When it came up and broke this high, I went ahead and kind of jumped the gun. I got in on that break, and I got in with 3. So I closed out my short position. And unfortunately, where I got in on these 3 contracts, closed out here, I lost back some because I got in on this candle here when this one closed right at that price level, and then closed out over here. And I had 4 on because I added 3 and I had the 1 runner here. So when this candle came up and closed above, that's where I got in. So on the 1 runner I had from up here to down here, I made profit. On the last run, or on this trade overall, this was a losing trade, these 3, because I didn't close out any, okay? And it looks like I'm about to be taken out. I moved my stop kind of tight over here. So looking at the other direction, again, I got in long, didn't draw a trade line up or nothing. I'm waiting on it to pull back and give me a bounce if it does that. We really want it to go back and test an area in here somewhere as a support level to validate that entry. So you want to get in lighter. Light for me on this account's 3. And it basically pulled back to test breaking that high, went up a little higher. I thought, great, it's going to move. And then we had this big retracement here. So sit through the retracement. Stop was down here. And sit through the retracement. And all it's done was it's pulled back basically, if you look at where it bounced, where this bounced here, look over to the left, and you'll see the highs in here, right here and right here, okay? And that's basically where it bounced. You can even pull back and see that the inside of this swing up and down, that inside of that top right there, is it not right in line with that level? I'm trying to get to the wick there. It's right in line with where it bounced, okay? So bounced there, stayed in, held, it starts trekking up. So at that point, I drew a trade line from here to here, and then as it creeped up, I just extended it out. Now, I hadn't moved it yet in here because I was scrambling to try to get things working, because with TradingView working, I had to reset up my, I had to set up a new scene that actually, where I could show you guys screenshots, the whole screen over here, my whole right monitor, instead of just the TradingView screen. So as it's trekking up, it pulled down and broke. Now, why didn't I get out of that? If I can find it, is that right there? Okay, we had a buy signal in there. Trying to see the chart. Everything was green on the bottom. So I'm going to hold my position. Here's that big pullback right here. That was it right there. So that pullback right there is what we're looking at that broke that trade line on top step. So unfortunately, I can't put this indicator on that on top step. You just can't do it. It won't work. So everything's green. We even had a buy signal. We just have a big pullback. So we don't panic because it broke the trade line. Okay, it's not the time to panic and not the time to jump out saying, okay, my ride's over. Because a lot of times they will scale up the back side of the trade line. It's just a healthy retracement that you have to learn to sit through. It will happen. You're going to get these little minor retracements, and then you're going to get a bigger, healthy retracements. I used to always draw fib and use my fib retracement tool, drawing it from like this low to this high, and it extends several levels in here, and you're looking for a bounce. So I don't use that much anymore because, one, I'm using the indicator. So when it comes back, I'm going to hold because everything's green. That's basically it. I'm still holding. So because everything's green, and we might be switching to red. I haven't looked in a while because now we're in here talking. So when we get the healthy retracement, okay, we're holding because, again, everything was green on the indicator. During this pullback, everything's still green. So we're going to hold. We're going to stay in. We're going to ride it as long as we can. So what you would want to do, of course, is when it comes down and gives us this bounce and goes back up, when it reaches back up to that level, especially if you haven't done it, once it breaks this high in here, you definitely move your trend line out, your trade line. And we would move it out like that. Okay? So don't be afraid of the pullbacks. And you never know, guys. At one point, a pullback is going to turn on you, like this, for me down here. So I was in a downward move and sold. And guys, I can't make the mouse big or the mouse bigger. It's huge on my screen, but on whenever I do it this way on the screen share of the actual monitor, it makes a teeny tiny arrow, and there's no way for me to make it bigger, and I don't know why. I'm going to check into that, but it's not the usual mouse that you guys see on my screen right now. It's huge, but unfortunately over here on the broadcast it's not. So again, good move down. We had a good healthy pullback. I sold 3 more. I just failed to close when it went down, and then it pulls back, and you'd think, well, can we sell some more? If I would have closed 2, when it pulled back, would I have sold more? Where I didn't get that signal candle here. I didn't get a signal candle like here, okay, to sell. So no, I wouldn't have sold there. And then it broke that down trade line here, tested the backside, and started moving up. So glad I didn't sell there. Now for me, since I hadn't closed out partial, I was waiting. If it would have gave me a signal candle win, I wouldn't have stacked 3 more on. I would have just, as it went down to these previous lows, closed partial. So now that we've moved our line on this downward move, it trekked up it a little bit, and then it gave a nice push. So it gave a nice push above the high. Always mark your highs and lows. Just always be marking those as you go, okay? And it had this high then. So that would have been our high to break. We want to see it break. It kind of went up, rode under it a little, finally creeped above it, and then bam, we had a big candle, okay? So nice big bullish candle, nice big bullish candle. What do we expect after nice big move? Even this, it pulled back a little and went up. So that whole area from down here, okay, and I'm stopped out. So down here up to here was a nice big bullish swing. We expect a retracement. So it had a decent retracement and then just flattened. It went sideways. It went sideways between this high and this low. Always mark your highs and lows. And you're going to mark the high. That's going to be your high to break. And then you're going to mark the low, would be your low to break. You're looking for one of those two levels to break. We don't know if it's always going to break high and keep going or if it's going to break low. So draw those and we're looking to see what happens. Well, it pushed to that level in here, kind of making higher. It made some lower highs, but it kept making higher lows. Okay, here's your wick low, wick low, wick low. Each time the lows are getting higher, but the highs aren't. Okay, the highs are getting lower. So it's coming into that like pendant flag phase where you would draw a trend line up on the bottom and you draw a pendant flag. And this does have the magnets on. Or triangle. You can use the triangle tool, either one. But you're drawing across the tops and the bottoms, and one of those, that's your pendant or flag formation, and we're looking for a breakout and test of that. So it did come up and break that pendant formation, but not the high. This candle came down and pushed to the top of the pendant formation, but then all this, went bullish. So good bullish confirmation for us, and it did go a little bit higher. I just moved my stop along the way. So right now I am actually stopped out as it's come down and pulled down, breaking these lows and broke the back of that. So I just wanted to cover that. I know someone was asking about the gold. I think it was Zen was out there asking about in the Discord about the gold trade. So sorry it took a while to get going. It's just because, for one, I'm having issues over here with this thing logging into TradingView. So the pendant formation, again, not pendant. And see, we're just now finally getting the 15-minute on gold. So I'm out. I'm out of that trade. I'm okay with that. What did I get on that? So on these two trades combined, I only made 226. And again, I'm looking for that, really about 300 to 500 on this account per day. And I don't trade multiple. I mean, I'll get in 2 instruments, but I don't trade my usual, 4 to 6 instruments. So on this account, it's 2 at a time. And I'm only looking for 300 to 500 a day on this one. All right. So back to this. So still, I would be holding if I was in, but I moved my stop a little tight. This wick right here, all it's done really is come down to test this high. It's just that deeper pullback. So I don't know if it's going to continue short or not. That may hold up, and we may see another push back to this high, and then we'll have to see if it breaks it. So you just got to kind of be careful the area it's in. So if I was going to buy right now, and I can't on this account, but if I was going to buy right now, I would just be cautious with the amount of contracts because, one, it's 10:35, so we're you want to be conscious of the time of day. All right, it's almost that 11 o'clock hour, so 11 o'clock to noon, where you have to decide, are you going to take entries? I don't always take entries from 11 to noon. Sometimes I will, but it really needs to be a good setup. I did not have time to fill out the trade sheet on either one of these. Let's see if I can get back to that. So I didn't have time to set up the sheet, but on both of these, let me go back here. And I'm switching back and forth on you guys. So on that downward move over here on gold, it was basically one, I was looking at those lows to be broken. Let me blow this up here. So again, it had these lows right here. and it broke that, came back and tested that. The 15-minute was the only time frame that was red. So, but I didn't even have trading view because my trading view wouldn't even load. So if you were trading on trading view and you could see the indicator, that's what you're trading. You know, basically I was just trading off charts. I was trading off the price moves, the price action. So it pulled down, broke those lows, came back up to test the lows. You know, I'm in short. Now, again, I didn't have trading view up because it would not load. So I would have realized that I'm only trading with the 15-minute time frame. And what does that mean? If you're only trading with the 15-minute time frame, less contracts. Realize there's a little more risk because you're trading against the 4-hour, okay? So realize you're trading against the 4-hour, against the 1-hour. Only the 15-minute is red. So realize that since you're trading against those higher time frames, there is a little more risk to the trade. So it's okay to trade those. Just realize there's a little more risk and do less contracts, maybe even a tighter stop, okay? Don't throw it all away just to try and catch a move. It's okay to sit out and not take part of a move. And then ultimately over here, it pulled back and gave a buy after structure built. And that's what we want to see. We want to see, you know, it come down, it made a low. Well, then it came up here and basically here's your high over here, that wick of that red candle. All right. It breaks that, goes through it, closes above it, comes back to test that level and then moves on. That's what we want. We want to see structure build. Okay. And on this move up here, before the buy signal came, it broke this high. We want to see that. We want to see some sort of structure build before we get into a trade. Now, that being said, you're going to miss part of the move. Okay? We're not getting in on the bottom, but we don't want to guess. I don't sit there and guess and try and predict. I wasn't about to sit there and go, okay, I'm out of my short and in long here. Right there at the bottom. I know people that do that. Try and pick the tops and the bottom. And they take a lot of losing trades. So you don't try and pick the top and the bottom. You just take a little portion of the market. It's okay to get in. We're waiting on structure to build. We're waiting on bullish structure. Okay, because right now this run was short. So waiting on the bullish structure to build, get a buy signal. You go in on that and look at how it panned out. Okay, it did have a good retracement back, but that's why we closed partials. And then ultimately we've had a good move up, a good long move. So if you look at the whole move, and you guys can use fibs on this. You're going to use fibs in multiple ways. We've got it as the profit tool. If I go in and change it back to fibs, you'll look at the pullback. So you'll have fibs on fibs. You know, we would have drawn a fib here if I was drawing with fibs. We had the move. Is that on the wick? No. So we had a move from down here up to here, and it pulled back and bounced on the 382 level, 38.2%. Okay. Now, after that, you get a good swing up here. You would draw your fibs. You would sit there and draw another one from this low to this high. So there's your swing, basically marking a swing. Well, what did it pull down to? That wick right there pulled down to the 38.2% fib level. That's your fib bounce. And it shot up after that. Okay. This one, you would draw fibs from this move up, and it totally just kept going down. There wasn't a bounce, really. Okay. So you look at the whole. Now, when I talk about that is this right here. This is a move up. We had a fib bounce. Move up, had a fib bounce. Okay, let's take both those off. And let's draw one from the whole entire swing. That's our whole entire swing. And I know this is something that not a lot of people have seen. I don't normally go over fibs. I used to use them every single trade. So as you look at this as a whole, that whole big swing up, is this not just a big retracement right now? It's pulled back to the 50% fib level. So that doesn't mean that the Long position, you know, the bullish move is over. Okay. So that's something you have to be aware of. So the bounce and the signal candle, John, are two separate signals. Yeah, two separate 10% on there. So again, we've had a big bullish move up. We had a buy signal. Everything's still green, was. 15-minute went red. We've had a big pullback. Does that mean that the bullish move is over? Well, the 1 hour and 4 hours still are green. So right now, it's not over to me. Now, could it be? Could this end up not going further up and pushing back down, and then the 1 hour turn red and the 4 hour? Yes. Okay. Because I'm looking at the time of day. Again, it's, you know, coming up on 11. So there's not a lot of trading going to be going on, and there's going to be profit taking. Okay. We're going to have that this afternoon, this morning, this afternoon. Your hedge funds, all that, they're going to close out by the day, especially if they're using bots, if they're not running 24 hours. Because again, they do have people that monitor their AI trade scripts. Okay. They don't just let them run. It's not like they put on a script, put on a bot, and let that trade their account, and they walk away and they check on it, you know, 2 months later. There's someone sitting in a chair watching those trades get placed and monitoring how that bot is doing. I would not trust it to run 24/7. Okay. I would be watching it. I would let it trade. I would be watching it. I would be monitoring those trades. So this may not be over as a bullish trade. So we'll have to see. So we could, as it pushes, if it goes back up above this right here, if we go back up above that high, then at that point I want to move my trade line like this, and that would be my trade line up. I would have to move it out because right now it's just testing the backside. It was over here. And you see how it's broken that trade line, pulled back to test the trade line, really gave a couple signal candles in here, a couple red candles. Typical charting techniques, I would take that. So until, you know, and it was back in 2006 where I come up with the idea of putting an indicator on the chart that would monitor multiple time frames that would tell me, you know, if we were in buy position or sell position, should I hold? So typical charting techniques, this was my trade line up, right? Actually, it was here. And it would break that. So my trade line was here. Did it not break that? So it broke it with the red candle. Broke the trade line. Pulled back up to test the backside of the trade line, or this high. It just kept going bullish. So there wasn't a chance to short here, and I would miss out on this bullish part. Because what would happen is I would be in long, and this is way back when. So I would be in a long position, catch this move, and it would break the trend line, okay, trade line. It breaks it, and as it pulls back up to test it, to test this previous level, to test the backside of the trade line as resistance, okay, as it pulls back, I'm waiting to short. My mind is set to short because it's broke my trade line. It's pulling back to, that's what we want. We want to pull back to get in at a better price. We don't want to enter right on a break. We want to pull back to get a better price. Well, as it's pulling back, I'm thinking, okay, I'm ready to short. I'm ready to short. I'm ready to short. I just need you to test this high level in here, back of that trade line, and give me a red candle, and I am in short. I'm all set to short. I'm locked and loaded. I got how many contracts I want to trade in there, and I'm looking to, that might be better. I'm looking to take it short. And then it breaks that high and keeps going up. 3 more bullish candles. I'm missing it. I was missing that stuff. Trading on the smaller time frame, I'd get up in the morning and look at the 15-minute, look at the hour and the 4-hour. But then when I'm down on the 3-minute trading or 5-minute trading back then, I was waiting on that, waiting on a pullback, waiting on a red candle saying, hey, it just broke my trade line. I'm waiting on it to pull back, give me a red candle, and I am in short. I'm all set to fire. I got the contracts in there loaded, 10 contracts or however many you're trading, and ready to go. I just need a red candle, and boom, I'm going to hit the sell button. Well, it doesn't come. You get 3 bullish candles, and guess what? Then you're scrambling to try and jump in on this, okay? So what happens when you're doing this, you're going to take a lot of losses if you're using the traditional trading techniques without monitoring the higher time frames, okay? Because I would have been looking to take short, I would have missed it. I didn't get a red candle signal, so I wouldn't have taken a short there. I'm out of my long position only to see it creep back up. You're watching it shoot through the roof and you're scrambling. You're jumping in. A lot of people do this. And you're jumping in. You're jumping in. People are jumping in. Not on the first candle, maybe the second. And then what do? They sit through a pullback. And while you're sitting through the pullback, you are thinking you made the wrong decision. Well, it just went sideways for a while and then popped for you. Okay? So staying in is better than trying to get back in to a long position, because that's what this was. It was a complete position, bullish position, all the way up to here. Just a healthy pullback that most people would be looking to short as it pulls back up. Or some people actually took the trend line break, and boom, was in short, only to have a negative trade. They might have had their stop above this high. So I can guarantee you that there were some people trading this today that took it short on that break, only to have a losing trade. There were other people, like I would have been if I wouldn't be watching the higher time frames, waiting on it to pull back, waiting on it to give me a red candle, that bounce off this high. It never came. So then you're scrambling. You're like, well, how was I supposed to know that I should have left my long position on? Well, look at the higher time frames. So that's what, having the indicator, since it is looking at the 15-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, should give you the confidence to hold your position. Now, eventually, it's going to fail us. Eventually, things are going to turn around, okay? It's going to happen like it did over here to me, right? And I was trading against the 4 hour anyways, if you look at it overall. So I didn't have access because TradingView wouldn't load over there at the coffee shop. So I was going back to my traditional techniques, right? And it broke the low, tested, and I got in. Closed partial, when it was down here. On this pullback and red candle, I added to my position. When it shot down to that previous low, I just didn't close. So it shot down here. I didn't have a pending order on, and so I didn't close part of that order out. So overall, we're still in a buying situation until the time frames, start to turn red. So does that make sense? Does anybody have questions about that? And I will, let's see, let me pull that up. Yeah, so this, what is it? 584 on the TradeAvate account, and then whatever top step was, not a lot. 226. So basically 5, 6, 7, 8, 800 on the day. That's not bad. It's not what I want to see, but it's not bad for the issues I've had today. Let me see if I can load this or bring this out. That's not the one I want. I got so many spreadsheets, guys. I turned my favorites bar off to try and give us a little more room. This is yesterday's. So I'm not going to go over yesterday's trades. I did the 4 videos. I hope you guys liked those on yesterday's trade where it was gold, Bitcoin, platinum, and S&P. So I did videos specifically on each one. I'm going to tweak this. Let me make sure you guys can see that. You should be able to. That's not the one I wanted to move. Hang on, bear with me. I'm trying to get it over on the screen a little. Okay, so I've reset this up, and I'll put it out where you guys can give. Yeah, I love your copper trade. MC's been in a copper trade from last night, and that's phenomenal. Getting in a trade before you go to bed, and going to bed, and waking up to money. That's the greatest feeling in the world. Making money's great. But going to bed and waking up to more money is even better. And I still have the 2 platinum trades on that were on from last week. So last I checked, the one was up to 12K and the other is 2 contracts. So the one is, I placed 2 trades with 10 contracts each. And one of them I closed out 8 contracts and left 2 run. The other one I left all 10 run. So what I'm watching is which one of those is going to pan out in the long run to give me more money. The one I closed out 8 partial and just have the 2 runners, or the one that has all 10 going. You'd think it's the one that has all 10, but it just depends on how the movements go and where I move my stops. I'm moving the stops to the identical locations on both trades, so we'll see in the end. I will put this out there. I have to tweak a few things this week, but basically on the trade sheet, I've changed it a little bit. This was the master one. This was on 1 instrument, so it was set up just to do 1 instrument. Has a little more details over in like here, but we don't need. We know on the 15-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour, we're doing those 3 things. Okay, we're looking for high-low swings, finding mid-levels, drawing zones, and drawing our outer up and down trade lines. That should be a daily thing, because when you come to the market in the morning, things have changed throughout the night. So I've kind of changed some stuff in here so that, and down here, so that I can have multiple instruments on there, okay? And then I've adapted here. I can't include all of this in here. Like basically if it hits a target, did you move your stop loss? Yes, I moved my stop loss. What price did you move to? Boom. Did you close out contracts? Yes, I closed out contracts. I closed out 8, okay? And that should be just a number, not percent. So did you close out the whole trade? No, okay? Profit level 3 was hit. Level 3 was hit, which is 2-to-1 ratio. Yes, it was hit. Did you move your stop loss? No, I didn't. Or yes, I did. What was that amount? Did you close out partial? Yes, you did, or no, you didn't. If you did, how many contracts? Closed out 1. You know, maybe we put 10 on. Put 10 on here. So what I've done is kind of changed it a little bit, and I will get you guys a copy out. I'm going to change one more thing, and I think it's done. So basically, I'm coming in. You can come in, and are you only trading gold for the day? You know, if you're trading gold for a day, you put gold up there. 3-minute time frame. Is Trump or Powell speaking? Those are major speakers, right? So are they speaking for the day? Yes, Trump speaking, or yes, Powell speaking, okay? Up here you click, and you can put in the date. You put in the news, just copy and paste it over from one of the news. I just use Forex Factory, and then you can put the time in. So I've got morning times broke out every 15 minutes, and then after 10:45, I stopped it and just put in a 2 and 2:30, since that's when a lot of the speaks happen, okay? These running totals, you don't do anything with them. They tally up for you. So that's why they're kind of in green. You'll put New York time if you're trading that session. What time do you start? You know, I've got in some, because some of you guys I know are starting at like 6 a.m. So 9 a.m. to noon or whatever. In here, you just select the time for the news. This is just a reminder in here to 15-minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour to make sure you're looking for those things. Look for your major swing high lows. Look to draw your mid-levels, your zone boxes, and then draw your outer trend lines. Down here is your trade entries. So we want to look at trend direction. What is the power trade indicator looking like? What is it showing us? Yesterday on gold, only the 15-minute and 1 hour was red. The 4 hour was not. On Bitcoin, all 3 time frames green. Platinum, all 3 time frames red. S&P, all 3 time frames green. This is like right when I looked to enter, okay? So you select down here, what is it? Well, if they're red, I'm going to sell. If everything's green, I'm going to come in here and buy. So I'm only looking for sell positions in gold and platinum, buy positions in Bitcoin and S&P, okay? Over here, I didn't have anything. I was only looking at 4 instruments. Over here, if I took another trade in gold, I'd come down and put gold. That would be my second trade on gold. So you can come in and select one item. I'm only going to trade gold today. And you're going to have gold. And gold 2, gold 3. It's not labeled that way, but you would just change these each to gold. Okay? And you could trade it that way. So I'm trying to think of everything that you guys might need, but not make it too overwhelming. And basically down here is where we get into our traditional charting techniques, our traditional entry checklist, okay? Let me take a drink of water real quick. So, and these I went over in the video. That's why I wanted to do those 4 videos separate instead of all together as they were traded, because I know that's overwhelming. And just hone in on what was checked off. So on gold, you know, we had a retracement pullback. Yes. Each one of these, if you look at the other sheet down here, see how I've got like 50% reason to take the trade? Make sure that's blown up a little bit better. So 50% reason to take the trade just because the signals all say, you know, if they're all green, we're going to buy. If they're all red, we're going to short. So we have 50% reason to take trade. As I mentioned in the video, we're not taking those. We're not just jumping in and buying and selling. We want a retracement or pullback. That gives us 10%. So every one of these other confirming signals that we have, we add 10%. That gets us up there to where we're at 70 or 80% reason to take the trade. We're going to go lighter with contracts. If we get another 10%, we're going to go with a little heavier. 100%, we're going to go with our typical. So if typically you place with 10 contracts on 100% setup, okay, then on a B setup or 90, if that's all you have, then you want to go with less contracts. So if I'm using 10 contracts for an A setup here, 100%, then on just a 90%, I might use 8, okay? And then on an 80%, I might use 4 or 6. You have to decide on yourself. Do you back that up, go 10 here, and then 8, 6, and 4 on a 70%? Or you could back down. So from 100, if you're at 10 contracts, you could back down to 6 on a B and back down to 2 on a C, okay? So that's really up to you. That's part of your risk tolerance. You have to decide on that, okay? Because you are getting in on riskier trades because you don't get all the criteria. So notice that I've changed that, and over here we have 10%, 10%, 10%. Well, over here I did the totals. Well, in order to get it to fit on this sheet here, okay, in order to get it fit over here, multiple instruments, I had to combine these. And I just put 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 on down. The problem with that, as you look at what I did yesterday, gold was great. It started from the beginning and just ran down the checklist. Bam, 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 bam. Okay? The rest weren't. On Bitcoin, we didn't have a retracement pullback. We had it break a high-low instead. So Bitcoin and some of the other instruments, they don't work as well with trend lines. Trend lines don't work as well on them. We're still going to draw trend lines, but it might be a high-low break. You know how we're always drawing the highs, high to break and low to break. So you might have a high break or a low break. So that's why this says breaks retracement line or high-low. But we didn't have a retracement. We didn't have a pullback. So I didn't get to check this box. Okay. Over here on platinum, we didn't have it pull back to test a high-low line or retracement line. We didn't have it bounce off of the retracement line or high-low line. Why? Because it didn't break one. There was none to break. So since platinum didn't break a high-low line or test the retracement line, or test the retracement or high-low, and then bounce off of it, I couldn't check these two boxes in here. Okay? Couldn't check them. So I'm having to add up manual. I'm going to have to go in, okay, we're at 60% here, 70% here, we're at 80% here, and 90 here. So this was a 90% setup. Okay? On this one over here on ES, it looks like we're at 100%. Well, we weren't because I didn't get to check this box. So it was at 90%. Okay? Now on Bitcoin, we're down here on the checklist, 110%. But I have to take off 10% because that one checked. So that was our 100% setup. So the only one that followed through on the checklist was really gold. So with that being said, what I'm going to do is change these back. So this will be, 50%. Each one of these, I'm going to change to 10. And what I'm going to do is as you check the boxes off, as you check each box off, I'm going to have a total. So I'll put a total. I don't know. We could put it at the bottom or top. I don't know where you guys want it. Actually, I could put it down here. I may put it at the bottom of this and just add another row. But look for a total. I want a total. So when I click on this box, this box, this box, this box, and that's it. I want it to total that up. 60, 70, 80, 90. That's what I want. Because if I don't get to check that one, and I don't get to check that, then what do I want it to total up to? I want it to total up. We're at 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay? I don't want to have to sit there and try and figure that out or count it out while I'm trading. I don't need that distraction. Okay? So, and you could fill these out as you go or afterwards. I've been filling them out after the trade. I mean, I know which direction I'm trading based on what the indicator's showing. You'll come down and put in your time of entry. Whatever it is, you can just type in 10 o'clock and then AM. And then your contract size, I've got some default in there, 2 on up to 20. You can always add in more. And then entry price, your stop price, where are they? The profit close partial, you have to wait till you close partial to get it. Down here, how many levels back are you going to monitor your stop? Is it 1 level back? Is it 2 levels back? Or is it 3? I only put 3 in there because I don't think anyone is even going to use the 3 levels back. I don't even use that. Typically, it's 2 levels back. Sometimes 1 for me. Okay? And then down here, you're just checking things as it goes. So we're on gold still. So gold comes down and hits level 2, which is 1-to-1. It hit that target level. Hit level 2. I moved my stop to what level? I moved it to 30.4. Okay? It came down and hit level 3, which is our 1-to-2 risk-reward ratio. It hit it. Did you move your stop? Yes, I moved it there. It came down to hit level 4. When it hit level 4, did I move my stop? LA is left alone. You can put whatever you want in there. Not move or just not. That'd be something my daughter would say to me. Not. So just put not, LA, left alone is what I chose to put. Hit the next target, I left it alone. Hit the next target, I did move it at that point because it had moved quite a bit. It moved to level 6, okay, which is our 1-to-5. So 5 times our risk level. So that's what the bottom is. I don't have, and that's something I'm going to look at seeing if I can kind of shrink some stuff around in here, because what I miss is this right here. I miss that, here's our target, 2-to-1. I missed that level 2-to-1 was hit. Did you move your stop? Yes, I did. What was the price? 30.4. Did you close out contracts? Yes, I did. How many contracts did you close? 8. And again, it's showing up as percent instead of a number. So did you close out? Yes, we closed out 8. Did you did the trade close? No. So I'm not checking this box. So I miss having this all in here. You know, I've got the stop loss moved. You know, it was target was hit, stop loss was moved, and there it was moved too. What I miss is this right here. Did you close out contracts? How many? What I may just add in is this right here. Just close contracts is all it'll be. And it'll, if I can get those columns in here, which I probably can, because I'm basically adding, you know, one to each. So I don't really think I can shrink the boxes any here any. But what I'd like to do is add contracts closed so that you can mark that up. Basically, this is so you can go back and look at your trades at the end of the day or at the end of the week, the trade sheet. Now, right now, I have a script on this that, and again, your totals come in here. So when you put in, when I closed partial and got 280 on my partial, it pops it up here. Partial close profit, 280. When I sit there and put in my runners, as I close my runners out and keep adding that. So at first it might be $200 on a runner. At the end of the day, when you close, it might be another 106. So you got 306 total. It's going to put the runner total here. That's your bonus for the month. Because this right here, your partial close should be your daily goal. Okay? And that covers your day, what you want for the day. The runners is extra. That's your bonus for the month. Okay, sorry about that, John. Thanks for letting me know. So, again, looking to add the other columns, and then something else I worked on that I got done this week was this. Who wants to go through and uncheck all this at the end of the day? How much fun would that be? Let's change this back to buy, sell. Let's change this back to selection. I mean, who wants to go through and change all this stuff? Quantity. Let's go uncheck all this. You know, let's go zero this out, delete that, delete that, delete that, delete that. I don't. That to me just seems like work. That's extra work I don't want to do. So I wrote a handy script, and it's right here. And you click this button. Look at that. It went through and reset all these back. It unchecks the president, or if you've got these checked, click it. Now it leaves the time alone. It unchecks them. It unchecked these. May put them back to select. It zeroes out the news, sets this back to there's no time set, zeroes out totals. Look at that. All these are done. They're no longer on, Bitcoin and platinum. None of these are checked like they were. These are not checked to buy and sell like they were. These are not checked. Nothing set down here. Everything's set back. The times I've left alone. Okay, because you'll go in and manually put the time. So those are left alone. It comes back and does it all. It resets everything back that you've sat there and typed in. Okay. So I think when I share the sheet out, and it'll be this sheet, I think when I share the sheet out, I don't know if I've got to do something with the script. So because I just don't know, guys. So we'll have to experiment with that. So what I'll do is share this out. I'll modify it the rest of the week. Just give me some time because I want to make that addition, and then I'm using it to trade. So I just want to make sure it's good to go. That was the only thing I didn't like, was, like I said, coming in and checking a few things, and like that one wasn't met, and that wasn't met. So we would skip that, and then I was just having to take away. Okay, we're not at 100%, or 110% in this case. We would actually be at 100 because that box wasn't checked. So that's the only thing I want to change. And then I'm going to add a column in here to each of these. I think that will, you can add in how many contracts you've closed. And I don't think I'm going to have a tick box. And I don't really need this one. I don't technically, but I like having that because you may not move your stop. But on the contract close, I just may have another column that says and I don't know why I'm unchecking these, because I can hit the reset button where you can add that and add those in. So 2 changes I'm going to make. One where you can put how many contracts you close, and then I'm going to have a total down here at the bottom, under this row right here, that allows us to see that total. It'll total up for you 80, 90, whatever, as you tick the boxes, as things set up for you. And then you should have in mind how big of a, what percentage are you waiting on to enter? That should be something you decide ahead of time, not really while you're ticking the boxes. You should already have that in mind. 100% setup, I'm going to put 10 contracts on. If I have a 90% setup, I'm going to put 8. If I have an 80% setup, I'm going to put 6 contracts. You should already know. Are you even jumping in on an 80? Or are you going to wait on a 90 or 100 and say, I'm only going to get in on a 90 or 100% setup. I'm not going to take the 80s. So what you're doing is you're ticking every bit of these off. You're at 60, then you're at 70. That one doesn't apply. So this one doesn't apply. You skip it. Well, now you're at 80, right? So you're waiting on a 90% setup. You're basically waiting on that signal candle. Green candle, if to buy, red candle sell, or do we get a buy sell signal? Boom, and then you're in. So it'll say 80, and you're going back to the chart and placing the trade. So hope you guys like this. I don't know. You can use it if you want once I share it out there. Some people do, some people don't. I used to print them. So this is what I used to use, minus this right here. We had a different indicator, and I just put were all 3 time frames up or down, kind of like in here. 15-minute up, down. So we're just not doing that anymore because I put it all on this other one down here like this. All right. So that's really all I have to cover, as it's just shot. As you look at what gold's done, it pulled down. Let's look over at TradingView. So TradingView did give that buy, but that's, like I said, we don't know if it's going to continue, and it didn't. It's fallen apart, and it's gone nothing but short. I want to look at and even my head and shoulders. So my head and shoulders here that I got in, and I got in on that on trading trade of 8. I had to place the trade. So on that trade, I put 20 contracts on. I closed out 15 and then let 5 go. And then, of course, the 5 were stopped out on that pullback. So just trading this off the 15-minute only, and then the 1 hour finally came around. But basically, I was trading off that head and shoulders pattern. Okay? So the head and shoulders pattern that I noticed earlier, I'm like, well, that goes against the 4 hour, 15-minute, and 1 hour. And when it pulled back up and turned in here, then you're looking to sell. And you're selling it down to the leg. Okay? And that should be your profit target. And it goes past it a little bit. You know, it went past this area a little, and didn't get all the way down here. And then it's totally pulled back. So this was a trade against the 4 hour trend. It's fine to do that. Just realize the risk. That's all there is to it. You just have to realize that there is a little bit of extra risk because you're trading against the trend. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry I had issues today because I wanted to get in live as soon as I could, and I just was having issues. I don't even know. I'll have to see if I can log into TradingView on or not. I don't know if I'll be able to log into TradingView or not with Trade-Evate. I'm going to have to try it and see. So I don't know if I can get in there or not. I think, who was it? I noticed someone, I think it was Candace, said she would, yeah, now I'm in. So now all of a sudden I come in and I'm able to log into Trade-Evate through TradingView, where this morning I couldn't. And it gave me really, really bad issues. All right, so be careful trading. Just remember that we're going after that little bit of daily target. MC, that was a phenomenal trade on copper. I love seeing that one. I don't know whether you're still in it or out. I haven't looked. So just remember, trading has risks, and we're trying to minimize those risks. We're using the higher time frames to try and trade in the direction of the higher time frames. We're leaving runners on so we don't have to get back in. Why scramble to get back in if you're already in and you're in profit? Now, some days we'll get where they're just run all day, and it's just going to go one direction all day long. Other days, we're not. Other days, it's going to, turn on us. And then there's going to be days you're still in. That's good. And then there's other days where, like the platinum trades from last week, still in those. Okay? So they were Thursday. So 2 of those still in them. So there's days where, now you can't do that through a funded account, carry over on the weekend, evenings and weekends. But eventually you'll get there where you can carry those over. Those trades may end up, right now they're making a little more money. The one was up 10 grand on Friday, and then it was up 12,000 last time I looked, and I haven't looked today. So you're hoping for those bigger paydays. You're going to just manage your stop. So, and those are runners. What you want is the runners to cover your losses, the runners to give you a bonus for the month. So if your runners can cover, you get a couple big runners like that. Sorry, I need to change. That was a joke. The Wonder Pets ringtone on my phone. That was a joke for my daughter, and I just forgot to change it back, and I keep forgetting. So anyways, we're hoping that those runners, the big runners, are there, and 1, it gives us our monthly bonus, but 2, it covers losses. So you get that big runner that even is only up $2,000. Like the one runner where we put on 10, closed out 8, and have 2 runners on. Well, it was up $2,000 when it was closed. The runners were up $2 grand. So we could have closed that out and had $2,000 in the bonus pool for the end of the month. It's either going to be a bonus check of $2,000 for me, or it's going to cover $2,000 in losses or $500 in losses. Maybe I get $500 in losses. So then my bonus check, that loss is pulled out of my bonus account, check, whatever you want to call it. And then we would still have $1,500 bonus. Well, maybe, next week, maybe tomorrow, I take another $500 loss. Well, that comes out of my bonus. My bonus check should cover that. So when you get these runners that go, and you can lock in the big runners, then what they should do is cover your losses. That's why when I did that 0 to 90 in a year, I didn't include any losses, because your runners should cancel those out, is typically what happens. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll try and get the live going tomorrow. I don't know why we had issues with Trade-Evate and TradingView, so I had to kind of switch stuff around because I was not set up here on the on my software to show you like the whole desktop. So I had to go in and set something up for that. So I will talk to you later. Everybody have a good day. Safe trading with what you got left. Try not to overtrade.